welcome back again to my channel. And for those who are new to this channel, please allow me to introduce first myself. My name is Bactol Noveline, and for the content of this video, we're gonna be I am your teacher for the day. Why teacher for the day? Because the content of this video will be more on educational, because I am going to discuss as well as explain the definitions, the characteristics, as well as the functions of the term culture. So what is really culture? This video will provide information about the meaning, characteristics, and functions of culture. Introduction of culture. Where is it really starts, or where is it really coming from? Well, the members of society not only endorse but also molds behavior accordingly because of the tradition and customs which are common to the society, and then the traditions and customs are passed down from generation to generation through the process of socialization, and that is called culture. So when you search the word culture, there will be a lot of results what comes out. But if you have noticed, each of the definitions is really has a different meanings. Why is that? It is because culture has a specific aspects or has a specific fields that needs to be focused on. Like for example, the first definition on the slide. Here, the first one, culture refers to the certain of personal characteristics of an individual. What does it mean? It meant for that specific person is a highly cultured person. He or she has a certain features such as his speech, his manner, and a taste for literature. He is very or she is very aware of what he or she is really into and what is he or she really want. Okay, and that specific person will be distinguished from the others because she or he is well cultured or well highly cultured person. However, this is not the sense in which the word culture is used and understood in the social sciences. Why? Because in the second definition, culture here is defined with aesthetics or defined arts such as dance, music, or drama. Sometimes culture is used in popular discourse to refer to a celebration or an evening of entertainment, as which one speaks of a cultural show. But technically speaking, okay, for the third definition, culture here connotes everything that is acquired by the society as a social being. So it is the sum of the human's beings' life ways, their behaviors, their beliefs, their feelings, their thoughts, that connects them or that connects everyone in that society. So that is the definition of culture. After knowing somehow the idea of what is culture is, there is this one of the most comprehensive definitions of the term culture was provided by this British anthropologist Edward Tyler, wherein he defined culture as that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, laws, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by a man as a member of the society. He even includes that those are consist of all learned normative behaviors, patterns that is all shared in the society. But okay, that is all shared, or even the ways or patterns of thinkings and of feelings as well as doings of that society. But for the Sutherland and Wood, okay, they are also scholars. They include culture is only the non-material part, like it's a matter of thoughts and meanings and habits as well, and not of visible and touchable material, things, or objects. In addition, he is also a British anthropologist, Ronowski Malinowski. He defines culture as a material elements that are made and used in accordance with socially inherited traditions, and that should be called culture object. Like for example, the culture included the inherited artifacts, the implements, and the consumer's goods and social structures with and that is for his definitions of culture. For Coley Argel, which come from the cultural transmission of the Center of Academic Research, for them, culture defines the entire accumulations of artifacts, objects, conditions, tools, techniques, ideas, symbols, and behavior patterns peculiar to a group of people, so possessing of a certain consistency of its own and capable of transmission from one generations. That is for them. Professor Hobel defines that culture is the sum total of integrated learned behavior patterns which are characteristics of the members of a society, which are therefore not the result of biological inheritance. There is also this American sociologist who defined the complex whole that consists of everything we think and do and have as a member of society. That is according to Robert Bernstein. H.T. Mazumador, he defines culture as the sum total of human achievements, materials as well as non-materials, capable of transmission, sociologically, or it could be traditionally, and communication vertically as well as horizontally. It was then decided to combine all the definitions of cultures. Culture is defined as the sum total of human achievements or the total heritage of man can be transmitted to men by communication and tradition. Culture, therefore, is a intellectual and spiritual discipline for advancement in accordance with the norms and values based on accumulated heritage. And lastly, culture is a collective heritage learned by individuals and passed from one generation to another. Individual receives culture as part of social heritage and in turn may reshape culture and introduce changes then became part of the heritage of the succeeding generations. So after learning the definitions of culture, which is really from a different various definitions, I will now introduce the characteristics of culture, because somehow we got the idea of what is already culture is. So the first characteristics of culture is learned behavior. Why? Because learned behavior characteristics represents to an essential component of culture, wherein not all behavior is learned, but most of it is learned. The second characteristics of culture is it is an abstract, wherein culture exists in the mind or habits of the members of the society. Third is culture is a pattern of learned behavior, wherein no one is born with an inherent understanding of their culture. They must learn it as they grow. The fourth is culture is the products of behavior. Like behavior determines culture and culture determines behavior. Whatever will be the trace, that will also going to be the fruit. The fifth culture includes attitudes, values, and knowledge. It is easy to overestimate the uniqueness of one's own attitudes and ideas. Correct. It is very easy. The sixth characteristics of culture is it is also includes materials object. To make these objects required numerous and various skills, which human beings gradually built up through the ages. They express their culture through that object. The seventh characteristics is it is shared by the members of the society. Of course, the very most easiest explanation for the culture, because everything made, learned, or shared by the members of society include beliefs, behaviors, and materials of, like for example, our Sinulog here in Cebu. We gathered as one to celebrate the Sinulog. The eighth culture or the characteristics of culture is it is a super organic. What does it mean? Culture has a life of its own, which is symbolic rather than genetic. In this way, it is a living thing, so it operates as a higher level of complexity than or the organic it is super organic. They express their culture through patronizing the nature for the super organic. The ninth characteristics of culture is it is pervasive. When we say pervasive, it touches every aspects of life. It also influences every part of our lives. Like the 10 characteristics of culture, it is a way of life. Simply the way of life of a people or their design for living. The 11th characteristics is it's a human product. So they are continually evolving products of people interacting with each other. So the 12 characteristics is culture is idealistic. What does it mean? It is a sum of total the ideal patterns and norms or behaviors of a group. And the 13th characteristic is culture is transmitted among members of society. The cultural ways are learned by persons from persons. So many of them handed down by one's elders. Like for 14 characteristics of culture, it is continually changing, which is correct because time is moving. And there is one fundamental and inescapable attribute, special quality of culture, the fact of unending change. Culture is continually changing. So it change as time goes by. And then the 15th culture, it is a variable because culture varies from society to society, group to a group. For the Manila, they parade the Black Nazareno long parade, but here in Cebu, the Sindulog will just be through dances. The 16th culture is it is an integrated system. Culture possesses an order and system without diminishing the prior culture. So like the 17th one is language is the chief vehicle of culture. Specialized language patterns serve as a common bond the members of a particular group or subculture. We can determine the culture through language. After learning the definition of culture, the characteristics of cultures, now let's proceed to what is the functions of culture. First function of culture is it defines situation. Wherein cultural identity is the feeling that you belongs to a group of people like you. So this often is because of shared qualities like birthplace, traditions, practices, and beliefs. The second functions of culture is defined through attitudes, values, and goals. Like each person learns in his culture what is good, true, and beautiful. Attitudes, values, and goals are defined by the cultures. So those goals are those attainments which are our values defined as worthy, winning the race, gaining the affections of a particular group. The third functions of culture is through defines myth, legends, and the supernatural, wherein myths and legends are an important part of every culture. They may inspire enforcement and sacrifice and bring comfort in bereavement.
The fourth factor of culture is to provide behavior and patterns. Culture functions to deeply influence, control, and direct behavior and life of the individual and of a group. The fifth and last factor of culture and society. It means it encompasses beliefs, cultures, practices, value, and knowledge a person shares as a society.